should attend if you can, 3 and 4. Because that's predominant, we had that meeting on the 21st, we invited residents that are in those 2 wards.
I just don't want us to have an accidental quorum,
Yep.
so I won't be going.
And that's at 5:30.
5:30, correct? At the Civic Center Auditorium.
In your memo, it just said 7 o'clock, so
Oh,
not that that was a
sorry.
big deal, but
maybe that was that the memo or was it in my email?
it was the memo in the email that we had gotten on
Oh.
Friday on that piece of paper. Just
We'll read it,
Double
we'll
check
read,
that.
yeah, we'll read
I
double
believe
check.
the letters though did say 5:30 that went out to residents, so.
So we've met with a number of residents that have come in and talked to us, landowners around the area, people that own property adjacent to some of the areas we're talking about. So, lots of stuff, and Mike has worked super diligently on options. He's finished, it's still morphing to this day. We adjusted those long-range options we already showed you, based on feedback from NDOT, where they literally went, yeah, you can't do that. And also here's the giant book that says you can't. They gave us the book. They're like, here it is. So you can show people, you're not gonna do that, we won't let you. And so we're just getting everything in writing and following everything up, and then we'll prepare for the 21st. We've tried to forewarn people when they come in or they call in or inquire. It's not gonna be this super long, like back and forth and things like that. It's really talking about all kinds of options that we can think of. If other options are brought up, you're allowed to kind of mention those. You don't have to sit there and prioritize or tell us your thoughts that night. We're gonna give you a sheet, put your address on it, turn it back into us, and we can get your feedback and kind of see where the preferences are. And we'll probably get more out of it of what people don't want to do, and probably no specific consensus because of how big the group is and how many people this covers on exactly what to do, but it will give us some guidance. And then we can bring all that information and some numbers and costs and things like that, estimates, obviously.
Do you have a sense of how many people you think might attend?
100?
178 letters went out.
Okay,
How many can we fit in the auditorium?
not that many.
163.
Really hope that they all don't show up. So,
I appreciate all the effort and the
Yeah.
time, because
Yeah.
this is truly sets a good precedent going forward as to how we handle development and how we handle with the public our long-term planning. And I know it's a lot of work, and I appreciate it for everybody who is doing all of this, but I just think if we do this right, that, we take a giant step forward in our economic development plans.
I will still reiterate how important it is for people in the public to keep track of things like the comprehensive plan when we went through that process. And I know a lot of you were involved in that back when we talked about this 2 weeks ago. I was flipping through that plan and I saw the pictures of all of us at the meetings and sitting at the table, and all the other people in the city that attended that. But I also remember the public meetings and the public open sessions we had, and the attendance, even though we put it in the paper and put it out on social media and everything else, people are just so busy, and it's still really hard, and that is such an important document.
Cause that was 2018?
It was.
How often do you revisit that?
Usually 10 years for a city of our size.
So with the information that you guys have just gotten through this awesome work that you're doing here, can we blend that in
Most
at some
of-
point in
yeah.
time?
Most of it aligns actually with the comp plan, because the comp plan is our guide. The comp plan defines, here's where we can grow, and then here's what makes relative sense in a general design. It's not holding you down and saying you have to do it, but generally, and so you're gonna see a lot of options that are actually in that comp plan. But we've fleshed them out more, and we've tried to define how they will help benefit Bain, and there's been a lot of analysis of this that we've sat down and talked about amongst a litany of us. And then also we're getting feedback because of just kind of stirring up the people directly in this area. That's why it's good that we send out the letters to people that live within 300 feet of when we do zoning and things like that. Is to try to solicit that feedback.
Melissa, when we did the comp plan in 2018, I was on that committee when it broke up into little committees.
So
I was there too.
she was there
Yeah,
too.
I was there.
And that whole section it immediately was identified as potential growth, so it was definitely in the plan, just no matter how you do it.
Right.
I think one of the other ones that I brought up, and again, we're kind of you're gonna get into a lot of this at the next meeting, so it's not on the agenda. The other one I brought up is, we talked about controlled growth, And it's almost harder when you're controlling the growth. If we were shooting at like 7, 8, 9%, we'd be moving so fast, we would be building through all these roads that they would just naturally be there because we're going so quick. But when you grow at kind of the 1% pace, you kind of line up next to something, but you're not going to see the perfect benefit of it until you make maybe that 5-year jump. And so that gives you a different kind of pain versus that, obtuse growth. So, but we've noticed that when we're talking about these things, we're like, well, if we just keep growing past this, it'd make complete sense to have this, but we won't grow past it for 5 to 7 years. So, but we've had great conversations. We had a lot of conversations with landowners and stuff, and they understand what we're doing and that we're not trying to dictate anything right now. We're just trying to put together ideas and then let people communicate their thoughts on them and work through them. And they have plenty of ideas and options. They love to give them to us. So kudos to Tim and Sarah and Mike and Bob Myers and all the work they're doing on that one as well. So other than that, I can answer anything in the report. Trying to think of, we spent a lot of time on that one, and so we've kind of deflected away from some of the other things we've been working on. Oh, the other one is the wellness center. You saw the renderings. This week we'll put out the floor plan drawings, and then we'll also put out, I have a budget that we went back and met one more time. The budget was sent out to a number of groups before, but we tried to get even more people to stare at it one more time. Made some small adjustments on some pool costs and things like maintenance costs for the pool. But other than that, we have it ready, and so we'll put out a budget so people can peruse through that and see. The only thing we forewarn on all of this, everything, even the renderings, is that's a preliminary rendering to give you a general idea. We will have to have someone do a final, complete engineering architectural design of that building, and it could look completely different. The final one could look completely different. We just want to ensure that based on the budget that we've had people check, if you built something that looked like that, in that finish, with that structure, what would it cost? And the number is that we've had 2 different construction companies now look at it, and they both come up independently with the same number. It's approximately 18 million right now. So that's the purpose of the renderings, the floor plan, making sure our square footage is correct, so we don't build basketball courts we find out are like 3/4 the size of real basketball courts, or a pool that's not got enough decking and you fall into the pool because people knock you down, stuff like that. So we think we worked through all those issues. All the final things in it. You may not have bikes on one side, the bikes might be on the other side, this pool might be somewhere else. There's a clamoring to not have the pool and have this like little, it's almost like a lazy river in there that's independent, but they're super popular now apparently. And I've had a bunch of people contact me and ask if we're having that in there. So these will be all things that you'll get to finalize through as we do the final design and stuff. The last being is when the budget comes out, those are estimate numbers. It has things in there like we're estimating the number of families based on size of similar facilities in our community. And we have to assign a number. So it says, I think in there right now, $65 for a family membership. There's no guarantee that it's going to end up being 65. We're trying to project. And I don't want somebody to come in my office like 2 years from now, if this thing were to be a reality, and be like, you put 65 at that budget and now it's 72 when you open the place up. It's just to project. All of those numbers will be set by the council if that project goes through. You'll have an opportunity. We will project it all out, and we will do even more detail. But I mean, this thing's gone through with a fine-tooth comb, so that will be rolling out throughout the week as well.
Any questions? If not, entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Coltman, second by Streisand.
Motion and second. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Beck, Canford, Coltman, Miller, Singleton, Streisand, Hendricks.
Any future requests for council agenda items or administrative action?
Can we get a new battery for the clock, please?
We'll check the budget.
I'll second that.
That's not an official motion.
No, I think I had spoken to you this, just to double check on Progressive Road of the lights.
Somebody also, Matt, speaking of Progressive Road, the question you had about the claim that was in the minutes, for Valley Corporation, that is Progressive Road. So that's the electrical replacement we've been doing on there. Those are the first 2 payments we made to them. So that's what the Valley was.
Nothing else? Okay. Jonathan, welcome.
Yes, thank you,
Upcoming
Mayor.
events.
A few things. Monday, March 21st is the 54th Annual Seward County Ag Banquet in partnership with the Kiwanis Club of Seward and our organization celebrating our ag families and businesses throughout the county. Still need tickets, please let us know. Our organizations continue to facilitate Zoom meetings in partnership with Four Corners about COVID-19 updates and community sector partners. That'll be held on Thursday, March 31st at 1. The City of Seward Downtown Revitalization Grant Program application has been launched. Thanks for Greg and Derek and others that have been great partners to get that going. First come, first serve. We've had quite a bit of interest from downtown building and business owners to participate, so please continue to spread the word. Saturday, and that's due Friday, April 15th at 10 a.m. Saturday, April 23rd from 8 a.m. to noon will be the annual Seward County Cleanup Day. Appreciate the partnership with the city again to be at the Horseshoe. We're fortunate to have a hazardous waste grant this year, and we appreciate the partnership with Four Corners Health Department on that. And we have launched those marketing materials. As you see them, please promote them accordingly so we can help clean up our community and county. And then lastly, Thursday, April 28th will be our organization's annual Business Anniversaries Luncheon starting at 11:30 a.m. in the Civic Center basement. Celebrate businesses and organizations in Seward County with 5-year increment anniversaries, 5 years to 150 years and everything in between. If you'd like to join us, please let us know and we'll get tickets for you. With that, that's all. Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, Jonathan. So with that, we have next up a strategy session with city attorney to provide negotiation guidance concerning real estate interests at the commercial rail campus development area.
So I move that city council go into closed session with the mayor, city administrator, and city attorney for the protection of the public interest and to discuss real estate interests at the commercial rail campus development area and to provide the city attorney with negotiating guidance for a period not to exceed 30 minutes.
Thanks, Jen.
Can you add Jonathan?
And include Jonathan Jank as well.
Moved by Miller, second by Camper.
Please register your votes. Please put the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Beck, Camprich, Coltman, Miller, Streisand, Hendrick.
The council has voted to go into closed session for the protection of the public interest, to discuss real estate interests at the commercial rail campus development area, and to provide city attorney with negotiating guidance. We are in closed session. Thank you, everyone.
No action will be taken.
Probably.